Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Baltimore Orioles. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. By BMW. Test drive a BMW at your Tri-State BMW Center or visit us at tristatebmw.com. By Citi, proud partner of the New York Mets. By the New York Lottery. Enter the New York Lottery's bullpen jackpot promotion at sny.tv/New York Lottery. And by your Tri-State area Land Rover retailers. Spring is really trying to spring, you know. It's still feeling a little March-like in May in New York, but it's a beautiful day. And if you sit in the sun getting off the 7 train, it's a perfect day to sit at the ballpark and watch a ball game. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling with you today as the Mets wrap up their 2-game series with the Orioles. The Mets rallied for 2 in the bottom of the 9th last night to win their 6th in a row, beating the Orioles 3-2. But along the way, a couple of injuries. Jeff McNeil left the game with back and leg cramping. He will not start the game today. Albert Almora, even scarier, crashing into the center field fence in the 8th inning yesterday. He goes on the injured list today with a shoulder contusion. He really hit the wall hard.
Gary, when we saw this in real time, I'm just so happy that it is only a contusion of his left shoulder. I thought it was going to be worse for Albert, who sold out to try to make a great catch.
And to take Almora's spot on the roster, Khalil Lee gets his first big league assignment, the 22-year-old whom the Mets acquired from Kansas City in February. Well, there was a time at Citi Field when Harvey Day used to be the most important day of the week, and for the first time since 2018, it is Harvey Day at Citi Field. A little different look for Matt Harvey, who at one time was the brightest star in New York's constellation.
Listen, he was a supernova when he pitched here and took the mound at Citi Field. 17 wins, an ERA, just a sketch over 3, and his appearances on this mound. It's been, boy, a little over 1,000 days since he's taken the mound here at Citi Field. And I know, driving in today, excited to watch him pitch. He's had some success early this year, and that's good to see.
And he's reinvented himself, Ron. He's more of a sinker ball pitcher than he was before.
It's really interesting. I've seen a couple of his starts I was watching the other day, and he tried to sink it into right-handers. He will still use that hard slider. He'll throw a lot of change-ups, and occasionally that four-seam fastball that we used to see so often.
Meanwhile, Taijuan Walker pitches for the Mets, and he has given the Mets everything they could have hoped for.
I think probably the best game he's ever had in the major leagues was his last start against the Cardinals. The best sign was not the 1 hit or the 7 innings or the 8 Ks. It was no base on balls. That really has been the only Achilles heel for Taijuan in this early season.
He retired his last 18 batters in that game. He'll match up against Matt Harvey at Citi Field. Early afternoon contest coming up on SNY. Local Ford stores for great deals on the full lineup of trucks and SUVs. Visit buyfordnow.com. By Catholic Health, long live Long Island. And by Spectrum. Spectrum Mobile has unlimited talk, text, and data. You can save up to 40%. Go to spectrummobile.com today. A limited number of tickets are still available for the May 24th to 27th series against the Colorado Rockies at Citi Field. Purchase tickets at Mets.com/tickets. Well, what must he be thinking? His first appearance at Citi Field since the Mets kicked him to the curb in 2018. Guy who used to be the most shining light in this ballpark returns to the Citi Field mound, pitching in orange and black.
It's going to be a very emotional day for Matt. A lot of amazing memories and some sad memories here.
He comes full circle. Matt Harvey faces the Mets. Should be an interesting afternoon at Citi Field. First pitch coming right up. Coverage cam, some images of last night's Mets walk-off win. Jonathan Villar with the head-first slide and getting some height on his jump. Patrick Mazeika, who's turning into a folk hero at Citi Field. 2 walk-off RBIs before he ever garners his first big league hit. He's had more stuff poured on him in the first week in the big leagues than anybody ever. Monday's starting lineup for the Orioles, only one change today. Chance Sisco behind the plate. Otherwise, the same unit for the Orioles, including Freddie Galvis, who had a bunt hit to drive in a run in the game last night.
Mets this year with Taijuan Walker on the mound are 5-1. His ERA is 2.38, and he's only allowed 1 home run in 34 innings pitched by way of Toyota.
Cedric Mullins leads off. First pitch swung and missed, and we're underway. Mullins 1 for 5 last night. He's riding a 6-game hitting streak, off to a great start this year. Second in the American League in base hits with 44 already through the Orioles' first 36 games. And Walker misses up and away with a fastball, and it's 1-1. Mullins, then Austin Hayes and Trey Mancini for Baltimore. The Orioles have lost 4 of 5. And Walker gets the slider in for a strike, and it's 1-2. Cedric Mullins is a speedster who's added power to his game this year, giving up switch hitting, becoming exclusively a left-hand batter, and it's worked for him. And it's up and away from Taijuan, 2-2. Only Xander Bogaerts has more hits than Cedric Mullins in the American League. Left that slider up, and Mullins fouled it back.
No one has more hits leading off a game in the first inning than Mullins. No one has more hits leading off an inning than Mullins this year.
And he's 5th in the American League with 18 extra base hits. That's something you would not expect. And Walker strikes him out with a fastball, and that's how Taijuan's afternoon begins, with a K.
Well, defense for the Mets, you really have to look at the guys that haven't played a lot. Nito's 5th start, 6th start so far this season. Peraza's first start at second base. And then in the outfield, Dominic Smith back in the lineup, Pilar in center field, Moore, of course, on the IL. And Michael Conforto, don't forget about the big hit he had last night to left field off Scott.
That was the Mets' first run. It came in the 8th inning. Then they got 2 in the 9th to win. Here's Austin Hayes, who flies one out to left center field. Dominic Smith back in the gap with Pilar on the warning track. Pilar jumps, makes the catch, and avoids a collision with Dom at the same time. Quite a play by Pilar. Up against the wall, with Dom going for the ball as well, and all's well that ends well.
Well, Dom wasn't sure about it. Pilar was sure from the start. He timed the way he broke down his run. He's yelling, "I got it," and just got inside of Dominic and made that catch right before the wall. That's another example, Gary, of a ball off the bat I thought was gone, and it stayed in the park.
I had shades of Willie Mays and Bobby Bonds on my brain when that ball went to the wall. This one's driven to the right field corner off the bat of Mancini and hits the wall on the fly. Conforto plays the carom, the throw to second. Lindor with the tag, and he just got in safely. Another great throw by Conforto, and Mancini barely beats the play at second base for a double.
Lindor went to make the tag, and the base blocked his tag. First the hitting by Mancini. Really top hands that ball off the wall in right field. Conforto plays it perfectly on the carom. The throw is a little to the left of Lindor. Watch the base. The base came into play as he was trying to sweep tag it. And as he sweeps, the base stops him from getting the foot of Mancini.
Great call, Ronnie. So a 2-out double for Trey Mancini, his first hit in this series. And now Ryan Mountcastle, who went 0 for 4 last night. So 2 balls hit to the fence on consecutive pitches against Walker. A terrific play by Pilar for an out, and nearly another tremendous play by Conforto.
The Mets are still occasionally having their blips in the field as far as errors, but they've been counterbalanced by some great plays, especially in the outfield.
Without question. The Mets have the lowest fielding percentage of any team in the National League, but if you look at the advanced metrics, they're actually playing defense really well. Mountcastle, who had a terrific rookie year last year, hitting just .225 in his sophomore season. And he chops one off the plate right back to Walker. And that retires the side. A double in one left. Mets come to bat against Matt Harvey when we come back. Mostly welcoming ovation for Matt Harvey as he takes the mound to face the Mets for the first time ever.
Mets fans, thank you for that.
Geico Mets starting lineup today. Jonathan Villar leads off for the first time this year, the 385th time in his career. Jose Peraza makes just his second start for the Mets, with Jeff McNeil held out of the starting lineup. McNeil should be available off the bench. You see Khalil Lee on the bench, just called up today.
The Land Rover numbers for Matt Harvey, 7th overall pick in the Mets draft in 2010. After 36 starts, his ERA was 2.39 and pitched in the All-Star game.
First man he'll face is Jonathan Villar, and he takes the ball low for ball one. And Villar gets under one to right field. Hayes started back, now coming in. And that's the first out.
Well, defensively for the Baltimore Orioles in this 12 o'clock game, the same infield as last night, but Chance Sisco gets a start behind the plate. And in the outfield, Mullins can go get it. Ryan Mountcastle's more of a first baseman that's playing left field. Austin Hayes almost with a great leap to try to get Dominic Smith's base hit last night.
One out now, Francisco Lindor. Villar and Lindor are the only Mets who faced Matt Harvey before. And Matt misses with a curveball for ball one. I'll never forget Matt's first start. I mean, it's 9 years ago now, in Arizona in the summer of 2012. And he arrived like a rocket. I mean, it was the first wave of the great stable of pitchers the Mets were able to put together. And Matt arrived on the scene, and he just caught everybody's attention. That first game in Arizona, those 10 starts in 2012 and then 2013, came out of the blocks just the best pitcher in baseball for a short period of time. Started the All-Star game that year. Later that year that came the Tommy John surgery. Missed all of 14. Came back in 15 and really, all told, had a wonderful year. Pitched more innings in 2015 than any pitcher ever had coming off Tommy John surgery. Despite all the controversy that year about limiting his innings, he took it right to the brink into Game 5 of the World Series and was never better that night. Ground ball over first, and Mancini plays it behind the bag, and that's the second out.
One of the most exciting games I've ever seen was Game 5, when he asked to go out for that 9th inning. That was as special as it gets, and it might be the line of demarcation. Might not ever see another pitcher asked to stay in the 9th inning in a World Series game.
You know, a little bit of it was hubris on his part, but he had been marvelous that night. A little bit was sentiment on Terry Collins' part, and I think ultimately probably the difference should have been split, that Terry should have let him start the 9th, but once he walked Lorenzo Cain, should have taken him out of the game, because that was really the mistake that was made, leaving him in to face Eric Hosmer. Hosmer gets the double, drives in a run, puts Familia in a more tenuous spot. Royals tie the game and win it in extra innings. Here's Conforto, who's 1 for 4 last night, and takes a changeup outside from Harvey.
Well, you talk about tenuous. Matt had put himself in a tenuous position with all those innings in 2015, and that was the reward, the 9th inning.
Right. Conforto drives one down the line. That'll go foul.
2-0 changeup from Harvey. When he has to go hard in hitters counts, you'll see him going soft.
And of course, Matt came back the next year in 2016. It didn't go quite as well, and then he was diagnosed with thoracic outlet syndrome. And really, from that point on, it led to today. The fact that he had to go through 5 different organizations since he left the Mets before landing with the Orioles this year and finding some modicum of success. Last year was a disaster in Kansas City. He made 7 appearances, had an ERA over 11. But he's reconstituted himself, and good for him.
I'm proud of him, happy for him. When he left the Mets before he got to Baltimore, he made 40 starts, Gary, almost 200 innings, and gave up 129 runs. So dark times for the Dark Knight.
Conforto hits one softly to second, grabbed on a hop by Ruiz, and that retires the side. So Harvey throws a 1-2-3 inning in his first back on the Citi Field mound. No score. Fan of the game is Wayne from Watervliet, New York. Go to sny.tv/CHR to enter. Second inning. Freddie Galvis leads off against Taijuan Walker. And takes a fastball for a strike. Galvis 2 hits last night, including a 2-out run-scoring bunt single. Gave the Orioles a 2-0 lead. That was the last run they got. Rolled over down to first, and Alonso makes the play himself. Galvis retired one away. It's a beautiful afternoon. If you're sitting in the sun, it is very, very comfortable.
Perfect.
If you're sitting in the shade like we are, it still feels like March.
It's refrigerated up here.
It's amazing. Our booth, I think, is the coldest place in New York.
It's one of those things like a cooler, you know, where it can keep things cold or hot. It just depends on the temperature.
So we're working in a thermos.
Yeah, it's like a
is what you're
thermos.
saying? Mike Franco takes a strike. Franco had a hit last night. He's just 4 for his last 44. Really trying to fight his way out of a deep slump. The former Philly.
Hit a ball hard in his last at bat too. That almost got over the head of Pilar. Had some carry on it.
The Orioles are second to last in the American League in runs scored. They're missing one of their key components right now. Anthony Santander, their power hitting right fielder, is down with a hamstring injury. And Franco tries to call time and gets it granted just as Walker was about to go into his motion. Taijuan's working quickly. And Franco trying to slow him down. And tops one foul. You see, it hasn't been a great offensive season for the Orioles so far. 12th in on base, 12th in slugging, next to last in runs scored.
Well, they're waiting for some of their minor leaguers to get to the major league level. Adley Rutschman, number one pick of 2019, a catcher.
Walker just misses outside with a fastball, 2-2. Well, they're in the rebuilding process after 115 losses and 108 losses in 18 and 19. Cutter outside, 3-2. They went 25 and 35 last year in the short season. Got off to a better start this year under Brandon Hyde, who's now in his 3rd year as their skipper. And ball 4. So Walker, after not walking a batter in his last start, walks his first today.
Flipping the ball in the air because he went with the 3-2 slider here early in the game and didn't find the strike zone. You know, the Orioles record at 16 and 20 might not look great, but they've already had 7 games against the Red Sox, considered probably the strongest team so far out of the gate. .551 winning percentage of the teams that have faced them so far this year.
Which is pretty amazing when you consider there aren't very many teams with great records in baseball right now. I mean, no team in the major leagues is more than 8 games over 500. The Giants and the Cardinals. have the best records in baseball at 22-14. Rio Ruiz playing second base again today. 0 for 3 last night. And holds a swing on a sinker and stopped it in time, and it's 2-0.
So here's the team that's supposed to be uber aggressive and swings at a lot of pitches out of the strike zone. Chasing pitches, has been a little more patient here early. Oh, there's, you got to write down the visit. Tim Timmons.
Carlos Torres calling the balls and strikes today. Alfonso Marquez, the crew chief at first. Roberto Ortiz and Tim Timmons rounding out the crew. Well, the Orioles chase more than any team in Major League Baseball, and their swing percentage is the second highest of any team in Major League Baseball. So it's hard to throw 5 straight balls. Well, that's what Walker's done. And he misses away with a splitter, and now it's 3-0. Those are the numbers we're referring to. Chase rate, swing rate, right at the top. But no swings here, and back-to-back walks issued by Walker. So Ruiz draws a 4-pitch walk. That's 7 straight out of the strike zone for Taijuan.
It's really been the only issue for Taijuan Walker is that his walk rate has been high, so he's put himself in some tough positions here now. No outs, sorry, 1 out and a couple on.
Sometimes names are destiny.
Well, I should have had Walker as the last name for a couple of years myself.
Well, you were just beloved. Right?
Well, I don't know.
Destiny. Names. Destiny. Chance Cisco is the catcher and number 8 hitter. After Pedro Severino started last night and reached base 4 times. Cisco hitting just 171. This is his 12th start behind the plate. Franco at second, Ruiz at first with 1 out, and Cisco goes after the first pitch fastball after 7 straight balls.
Well, it's a guy who doesn't play a lot and trying to jump the shark here with Walker. A lot of movement on the pitches from Walker today.
Doesn't look anything like Fonzie. He's not wearing a leather jacket.
But he never says I'm sorry. So
3 infielders on the right side, and Cisco lines one to VR. The throw back to first, a high throw, and Alonso saves him an error. There was no chance to double up Ruiz, and VR sailed the throw. They get the second out on Cisco, and they're 2 away.
Well, good base running by the Orioles, but watch VR. He's about to throw it, and then he doesn't want to throw it, and throws it like a changeup and gives Pete enough air time to get up there and catch it.
Nice hand for Matt Harvey as he comes to the plate.
And if Nito is coming out to give the fans an extended chance to clap.
This is nice.
It really is great. I'm so proud of the Mets fans that are here for doing that.
I think when Matt first left in 2018, the reception would not have been the same. You know, he came back to Citi Field with the Reds later that season after the Mets traded him for Devin Mesoraco, and they had a little tribute video, and I think there was a lot of anger on the part of Met fans about the way things had gone south with Matt. A lot of off the field stuff and unnecessary headlines. You know, Matt often was chasing fame more than he was chasing his craft in those days. But he's matured. You know, he's 32 years old now, and he's figured some stuff out. He never got the 9-figure contract that he was always seemingly destined to get. But he's persevered, and give him great credit for that. And a foul tip, and it's 1-2. Harvey's a lifetime 107 hitter, 1 home run in his career. He's 0 for 2 this year.
It's only Tad. This is his 3rd at bat, though. Only his 3rd at bat since 2018.
That's what you get for going to the American League. Angels, Royals. He was also in the Oakland organization for a while. Never pitched with them in the big leagues. And Walker picks off the outside corner and takes care of Harvey for his second strikeout and works around a couple of walks in the second. No score. Dominant for 8 innings. Struck out 9 Kansas City Royals, a team that generally made great contact. 8 scoreless innings before talking his way into the 9th. Terry Collins wanted to take him out.
First time I ever saw him run out to the mound to take the 9th inning.
That 3-2 slider to Lorenzo Cain. That's.
Yeah.
I have to think that Matt regrets that call. Working with a 2-run lead, why do you throw a breaking ball in that spot?
Yeah, it's the only bad choice he made, because in that spot with a 2-run lead, you have to make the hitter put the ball in play. But what a night. That year in 2015 started 29 times, ERA at 2.71. I mean, no one benefited from Harvey Day more than our network and us guys in the booth. I mean, we just loved every time he took the mound.
You know, he was the ace of aces on that staff until he wasn't.
Yeah.
And, you know, Jacob deGrom lost in his shadow.
Yeah, he did.
Very early on. And, you know, now Jake is the leading attraction in all of baseball as far as pitching is concerned. But there was something magical about Matt Harvey and the days that he pitched.
You know, the difference is that with Jacob, it's like a machine. It's watching a machine pitch. With Matt, it was like watching Sinatra sing or something. There was something very entertaining and Hollywood about when he would take the mound. You just had to see it. You couldn't look away.
And I think also a lot of the off the field stuff, you know,
Yeah.
the late nights, the dating supermodels, I think the Dark Knight persona, all of that fit into what made Matt Harvey so special. But it also allowed people to, if not root for his downfall, at least take some kind of perverse pleasure in his downfall when it occurred.
Well, it gave them an open floor or forum to criticize when things weren't perfect. You know, he'd set himself up for a place where he couldn't take a step back, and when he did, you know, it was easy food for fodder.
Sure. I mean, there were the times when he showed up late, and at one time he didn't show up at all. And, you know, those things matter. That's a fair ball off the bat of Alonso down the line. He'll take the turn. He's going to try for 2. Hayes recovers, makes the throw on target, but not in time. And Pete hangs onto the bag with an opposite field double. Aggressive base running by Alonso. Strong throw by Hayes, and Pete just beat it.
It's a couple of hits that Alonso's had in these 2 games that have been to right field, kind of broken bat hits. This one just inside the white line. And nice play by Hayes, who makes this throw on the run, and an accurate throw. I thought Galvis would stay with him because Pete might have come off the bag, but the tag was about simultaneous, but I think Pete easily got in there.
Well, they rave about Hayes' arm in right field. That was not a long throw, but he threw a dart.
He did.
So the Mets have their first base runner against Harvey. And so Matt will pitch out of the stretch for the first time, facing Dominic Smith, who had the game-tying hit in the bottom of the 9th last night. That got lost amidst the Patrick Mazeika heroics. Dom didn't start the game. He came in when Albert Almora crashed the fence. Got his only at bat in that 9th inning and singled into right center to get the tying run in.
To me, this is a very nice taking score. This is a real good matchup for Dominic after coming with a big hit last night's game. Harvey stuff versus Dominic's strengths. It's a good matchup for Dom.
Did you ever wonder why, when you go to the ballpark and buy a scorecard and a pencil, the pencil doesn't have an eraser? 1-1 to Dom. I mean, what is the point of the pencil if it doesn't have an eraser? Wouldn't you be better off with a pen?
Well, you know, we expect our fans to be perfect here at Citi Field. Get it done. Not that hard.
I mean, a pen and a little whiteout works just as well as a pencil with no eraser. That's lined into center field. A base hit for Dom. Alonso had to hold off. He'll go to third and stop there. So the Mets have first and third and nobody out.
Well, you see a little change up away off the end of the bat. So a couple of hits now and 2 nights off the end of the bat by Dominic. So starting to get some fortunate base hits. And the runner Pete, I guess with no outs, playing it uber safe. No one in that vicinity though, but I get it.
Remember earlier in the season we were showing the numbers about Dom, how he was only getting hits on fastballs, not getting hits on off speed or breaking balls. Well, that's starting to change.
Yeah, 2 in a row.
So first and third and nobody out for Kevin Pillar, who had 2 hits last night, scored the tying run in the ninth. Then he hits one in the air to deep left center field. Back goes Mullins to the warning track, back at the wall. He can't make the catch. It bounces away. Alonso is in. Being waved home is Smith. He'll score. Pillar dives into third base with a 2-run triple. And the Mets have a 2-0 lead. First triple as a Met for Kevin Pillar.
Well, jumped all over this first pitch fastball. Looked like a little bit of a cutter out of the hand of Harvey. And here's another ball that I thought was gone, but stays in the ballpark. Just hits below the orange line. And Dominic Smith, let's watch his base running. He gets all the way to second base, sees the carom. Oh, a little hesitation, but that's all right. Enough to get him to score the second run for the Mets. 2-run triple for Pillar.
Infield in for Jose Peraza. Grounds one in the hole. That's a base hit, and that'll bring in Pillar with the 3rd run of the inning. With the infield in, Peraza making just his 2nd start as a Met, finds a hole. The Mets with 4 straight hits against Matt Harvey, and they lead 3-0.
Well, they're not allowing Harvey to get up in the count. So they are jumping and being aggressive on the first pitch, something you don't always see from the Mets offense.
First RBI as a Met for Peraza.
Infield in, hit it sharply, you'll get it through. So the run's driven in by Pillar and Peraza, the bomb squad.
Peraza playing for Jeff McNeil after Jeff cramped up last night. Mets have gotten so much production out of their irregulars. Now Tomas Nido getting the start behind the plate today. Only his 6th start of the year, but he's been productive when he's played. Came off the bench last night as a pinch hitter, drew a walk and scored the first Met run in the 8th inning.
Harvey gave up 4 unearned runs in his last start in 4 innings.
That was against the Red Sox. He threw a ton of pitches in that game, 86 in 4 innings. That's grounded to short in the hole. Galvis, a sliding stop and a 1-hop throw dug out by Ruiz. Wow. Great play on both ends by Galvis and Ruiz to get the force on Peraza for the first out.
Ball to his right. He had to go into kind of a sliding stop, and off that back leg makes a athletic throw to second base where Ruiz is able to, like a first baseman, scoop it up with 2 hands to get the force.
He almost tripped himself coming out of that slide, Ronnie, and yet still was able to get that throw on target, albeit on a hop. So now Taijuan Walker, who has 1 hit and 1 sacrifice this year, and he takes a strike. So 4 straight hits, and then it takes an outstanding defensive play for the Orioles to get an out.
If you're watching the defense, if you're Walker, Mancini not charging at all, so that's where the bunt's got to go, or not charging aggressively, I should say.
Caught that pickoff throw when he was about 5 feet from the bat.
Yeah, Mancini was picked off on that one.
Nido the runner at first, and Walker lays off the high fastball, and it's 1-1. And already it seems a little of the adrenaline has seeped out for Matt. He was throwing 94 to start. Now he's throwing 90, 91.
I'm sure it was like an emotional last 48 hours for him while he was in this town.
And it's foul tipped on the bunt attempt, and it's 1-2.
Probably has to have his family from Connecticut that came in, right?
I'm sure. I mean, this is a special day for Harvey, win, lose, or draw, just to make it back to the Citi Field mound. And bunted and missed by Walker for strike 3. You know, I think about Harvey on this mound, and there are so many great memories, but what about starting the All-Star game in 2013 wearing those bright orange spikes? I mean, the entire world watching.
It reminded me of, remember when Dwight as a 19-year-old started the but pitched in the All-Star game, and everyone they wanted to take a peek at what made this person so special.
I mean, think about that 2013 season. You see the numbers there. So he started the All-Star game. He was on top of the world, and then in August, turned out he had a torn UCL and had to have Tommy John surgery, and missed all of the next year. And you know, those were the highs and lows of Matt Harvey's career as a Met. Great highs followed by the low, and then he comes back and has the great 15, only to have the disappointment of the 9th inning of Game 5, and then the thoracic outlet the next year that, you know, really set his career back.
Gary, the only All-Star game I've ever attended other than a player was 2013. It was because Matt was pitching.
Jonathan VR flied to right his first time up. Good changeup by Harvey, and it's 1-2. Nito at first with 2 down. And VR slashes one foul. Well, 2012 to 2015 was the height for Harvey, and then there was the rest of his Mets career.
Yeah, so the first 3, then the second 3.
Last time Matt started a game on this mound was April 14th of 2018. Then they moved him to the bullpen, and by the beginning of May it was fairly obvious that that was not going to work out for either party, and that's when they made the deal with the Reds to get Devin Mesoraco. And the curveball in the dirt stopped by Cisco, and it's 3-2.
You know, when watching Matt on tape, all of his starts this season, I was really encouraged by how well he was changing speeds, Gary, and you have not seen any of that really this afternoon. And I wonder if all this adrenaline kind of working against the new version of Harvey.
Nito will get set to run with 3-2 and 2 out. And VR goes down swinging on the fastball. Harvey revs it back up to 94 to pick up his second strikeout, but the Mets score 3 and lead 3-0.
Guys, you're hearing this chant right now. It's Harvey's better. Pretty creative.
I want to know how they came up with that and transmitted that to everybody.
Yes.
To get them on the same note. It's pretty good.
Guys, you're hearing this chant right now. It's Harvey's better. Pretty creative.
I want to know how they came up with that and transmitted that to everybody.
Yes.
To get them on the same note. It's pretty good. That was a memorable night at Citi Field, the first meeting between Matt Harvey and Stephen Strasburg, who had emerged on the scene a couple of years earlier. And Harvey got the better of Strasburg that night and inspired that raucous chant from the crowd.
Yeah, that was like the greatest version of a verbal wave as it went all around the stadium.
Cedric Mullins leading off the third. Taijuan Walker now pitching with the lead for the first time, and Nito wanted that call but didn't get it from Carlos Torres. And it's 2-0 to Mullins, who struck out his first time up. And that one just missed too, and it's 3-0, and Taijuan Walker getting a little upset now.
We've seen this with Taijuan. Just got to shake it off. You know, if the umpire's squeezing you, you're not going to win that battle. So just be a little more aggressive.
(3-1) to Mullins, and he lines one the other way, but right at Dom Smith. 1 out. Drive around the majors presented by Cadillac. Stephen Strasburg trying to fight his way back from shoulder inflammation. Had a simulated game yesterday. Of course, the Nats need a healthy Strasburg to be competitive, and they are hoping that that will happen. He has not had a successful recovery since his MVP performance in the postseason in 2019. Here's Austin Hayes, who hit one to the fence in left center that Pilar climbed the wall to grab. It really is a cautionary note about the vagaries of pitching, isn't it?
It really is.
I mean, true in all sports. You know, you're always an injury away. That's driven to right center. Over comes Conforto to dive, and he made the catch. Oh, wow. Michael Conforto continues to distinguish himself with the glove. Another fantastic play by Conforto, taking an extra base hit away from Austin Hayes.
Well, he got a beautiful jump on the ball, and this ball was stung in right center, and then makes like Swoboda as he makes the play in right center field.
Think about Austin Hayes' last 4 at bats. He hit the ball to center that Almora crashed the wall. He hit the ball to left center his first time up today. Pilar climbs the wall, and now Conforto diving across the outfield to rob him with extra bases. That is something. I mean, he is playing a Gold Glove caliber right field day after day. Now Trey Mancini. I mean, what do I have to do to get a hit in this place?
Keep hitting it like that, Austin Hayes. You'll be fine.
1-1 to Mancini. But talking about Harvey and Strasburg and even Jacob deGrom, you know, who's just dealing with this minor hurt right now. With pitching, man, you just never know.
One day you're throwing 95, and the next day you can't blow your nose. I mean, it's just crazy.
That's why you always have to enjoy the superstar pitchers every moment they're out there. Strike 3 called, and Mancini is caught looking. Walker has his 3rd strikeout, and with help from Conforto, he's got a 1-2-3 inning. 3-0 New York. After that fabulous catch in right center field, getting some love as he came into the dugout after the inning.
They're really starting to spend a lot of time, this team, congratulating each other and spending time on when someone makes a great defensive play. I like that.
Francisco Lindor leads off in the home 3rd after the Mets put up a 3 spot against Matt Harvey in the 2nd. Lindor grounded out to first base his first trip. Mets picked up 4 straight hits against Harvey. It's only the 3rd time this season the Mets have put 4 straight hits together. And the Harvey jerseys are still fitting. I'm thinking Harvey wore 33 with the Mets. He couldn't wear 33 with the Orioles. That's line down the right field line. Lindor's got a base hit, chased by Hayes, and he'll hold Lindor to a single. Of course, the great Eddie Murray wore 33 for the Orioles, and that number is out of circulation. Let's check in with Steve Gelb. Steve.
Well, Gary, one person on the Mets side who's certainly rooting for continued success this season for Matt Harvey is pitching coach Jeremy Hefner, who, you forget, has a relationship with Matt Harvey as a teammate. They were teammates in AAA together, and then they both rehabbed, spent a lot of time together rehabbing from Tommy John surgery back in 2014. And you know, they lost touch a little bit, but Hefner said they reconnected when he was with Minnesota and Harvey was with the Angels. And they've talked a lot over the last number of years as Matt has really tried to get back and figure out how to get back to being a serviceable big league pitcher. And you know, one of the things that Hefner was talking about is it goes beyond just, you know, learning how your stuff works now, but you realize with a guy like Matt Harvey, he was the Dark Knight. He was at the pinnacle of his sport, and to go from throwing 100 and being on top of the world, there's a lot of acceptance that comes with that as well, accepting who you are right now. And he said, you know, behind the scenes over the last number of years, not just talking to Hefner, but talking to a lot of ex-teammates and ex-coaches, Matt put in a lot of work to figure out who he was currently and how he could get the most out of this new repertoire. And so, you know, Jeremy Hefner's just thrilled for him that he's back on a big league mound and having the type of success he's having so far this season.
Well, not every pitcher reaches the pinnacle that Matt did in the early part of his career, but I think every pitcher who lasts as long as Harvey has at some point has to come to terms with being a different pitcher later in his career.
Yeah, I think the difference, though, Gary, is when you are considered one of the greats for a period of time. What happens is there's games when you're great that you can really just throw your glove on the mound. And once that shine is off, and I'm talking about the opposition has no feelings about that anymore, no intimidation, boy, that's a lonely place. I know when I got to Oakland, Dave Duncan, the pitching coach there, said, you remember the pitcher you were in New York? And I thought he was going somewhere with that, as you see Matt's numbers after leaving New York. He said, you should bury him because you don't have him anymore. And I thought that was a great way to put it.
Well, it seems as though Harvey is on that path right now. I mean, we may not see it today, and it may not be there every start, but he can be a legitimate mid to back of the rotation guy for a long time.
Yes. You know, because of the injuries, and he looks completely healthy, he doesn't have as many innings as someone would have at 32 years old. So there should be a lot of life and success in that arm to come.
He also appears to be in great shape.
Yes. Yeah, he would fluctuate as a Met. We saw him at his leanest, and we saw him at his tight end form.
You're saying you've seen him as DeGrom and you've seen him as Tebow.
Yeah, both.
2-1 to Conforto, and he goes after the changeup and misses 2-2.
That's what he's going to have to do more. He's going to have to become a real feel pitcher, subtract instead of add.
Conforto grounded out to second base his first trip. By the way, Lindor with that base hit's now hit in 6 straight games. So remember when Lindor was completely out of whack? Apparently that guy has been buried too.
The Bohunkus. No more Bohunkus.
If I never hear Keith say Bohunkus again, it'll be just fine. Conforto drives one deep left field. Back toward the corner goes Mountcastle to run it down in the corner. Conforto is so adept at hitting home runs the other way. Came up a few feet shy on that one.
Well, we've seen it. Last night's hit to score the first run to left center, and here a line drive to left field that Mountcastle made a nice play on. He's in the same circumstance that Dominic Smith was. Really a first baseman masquerading as a left fielder. But he played that perfectly. Okay, it hit a little high in the glove, but you know, we're working on the pocket.
It didn't come out, so it counts.
That's right.
By the way, did you see the tweet from Albert Almora?
Oh, I did. I loved it.
Night? He said, I caught it. And he did.
He did catch it.
It's just that the wall took it away. They are keeping an eye on Albert, by the way, because they called his injury a left shoulder contusion. This hit to right center field by Alonso. Back in the gap goes Hayes, and he makes the catch. So 2 warning track shots in a row from Conforto and Alonso. Both are caught, and there are 2 out. So they're calling it a shoulder contusion for Almora, but they're also keeping an eye on him because you just never know about, you know, concussion syndromes showing themselves in the days following that kind of a collision.
Yeah, I had a couple of concussions, Gary, when I was in high school from football play, and I remember having one on a Saturday, and on Monday I had a test at St. John's High School, and I couldn't remember what class to go to. So you never know how many days it takes.
Here's Dom Smith, who had a base hit his first time up. Two Mets first round picks going head to head.
Dom needs a big day. He needs one big day that just wipes away this first 5 weeks of the season and gets him rolling.
Matt Harvey was the 7th overall pick in the draft in 2010. Dom Smith, the 11th overall pick in 2013.
Good job by Harvey keeping Lindor close.
He's developed a little quicker move to first base.
Well, when you're striking out the world, you don't really care as much about the guys on first base. There you go. Nice jacket.
There goes Lindor. The throw by Cisco, and Lindor is safe. Cisco had thrown out 5 out of 6 this year, which is pretty incredible. It's now 5 out of 7. Lindor has his 2nd of the season.
Big jump by Lindor. Good job by Cisco. You see that leg and knee of Galvi's trying to block the bag, so Lindor has to work with that other mitt towards the back of the base.
So runner in scoring position with 2 out. A 1-2 count to Dom Smith. Kevin Pillar would be next. And Dom gets a breaking ball and fouls it back. That's as hard as Harvey's thrown today. Trying to put away Dom, but missed badly, and it's 2-2. Mets have started doing more running. 5 stolen bases in the last 6 games after just 3 in the first 25 games this year. It's been a conscious effort for the guys who can run to do more.
2 outs. No way Lindor's stealing third base there, and if he does, who cares? You want to get the hitter out.
And he's going to score from second on a hit anyway.
Right.
Taken the other way, and Dom's got a hit, and that'll bring Lindor around. So the stolen base produces a run. Dom Smith is 2 for 2, and the Mets have a 4-0 lead.
A big day on its way. You know, sometimes you have to eliminate pitches if you're a pitcher when the shift is on. And I've talked about this a few times. He went with the fastball away, sinking away, and you see the swing from Dominic Smith right on time. Eyes following the ball into the hole. Contact maybe a little off the end again as he's trying to work it towards the barrel. But 2 hits now and an RBI for Dominic Smith.
You know, there's nobody playing there, so you don't have to hit it that hard to get it through.
But as I was saying, you just can't throw that pitch. Watch the reaction from Harvey.
That's right. We have nobody playing there.
That's right. I wonder if sometimes the pitchers don't even realize that no one's playing there.
You would have to think that's true.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
Sometimes, because they change a lot, you know.
And you get locked in. I mean, you're doing your job as a pitcher, right? Pilar pops one up in foul ground. Cisco shading his eyes. Down comes Mancini to help him out and make the catch. That retires the side, but Dom Smith drives in a run. It's 4-0 Mets after 3. Pressure certainly takes the pressure off the offense when your pitching is this good. Mets have pitched brilliantly this year, even better than that at home. The Mets staff ERA at Citi Field coming into the day was 1.88. And Taijuan Walker has bettered that with 3 scoreless innings. Ryan Mountcastle leads off in the 4th. Mets now with a 4-0 lead. Mountcastle chopped one off the plate for a comebacker his first time up, and he fouls this one away, and it's 1-1.
It's such a strange dichotomy for Walker. He attacks the strike zone as much as anyone on the staff, but he walks a lot of people. He is in game mode and is ready to attack hitters, but occasionally just loses the strike zone.
Well, the other piece is that his defense has played wonderfully for him. He's had 4 or 5 really hard hit balls. Another one, and that's scooped by Peraza. What a play! Jose Peraza making his 2nd start as a Met, and he made that one look like it was nothing.
Right on time, Gary. You're clairvoyant this afternoon. Peraza's first start at second base. He's made one at third and a short hop pick. His Orioles, Hayes and Mountcastle, can't wait to leave Flushing.
That's continued to flash some serious leather, helping Walker to retire 6 in a row, and 4 of the 6 have been hit hard. Here's Galvis, who grounded out his first time up. I mean, Cisco lined out for the 2nd out in the 2nd. Mullins lined out to start the 3rd. Hayes hit the liner to right center that Conforto made a diving catch on, and now Mountcastle with that 1-hop bullet to Peraza.
But Walker's working quick, throwing strikes, balls being put in play. Everyone's on their toes.
Galvis fouls off the curveball, and it's 1-2. Your Spectrum Mobile high-speed pitch. Walker by a tick. See, this is what you were talking about last night, Ronnie.
Yes.
Why you don't sew your uniform shut.
There, yeah, you know.
I mean, when you're a big guy like Taijuan Walker, sometimes you got to let it breathe a little bit.
Exactly. You drop a little Magnum PI out there, whatever you have to do to style.
Well, he's got the T-shirt on.
No, I mean, he's a big guy.
I mean, you know, the Tom Jones look doesn't really go anymore. I mean, you remember those days, right, Ron?
Oh, jeez.
GQ days.
You know, it's hard to be an old man. You know, you barely can remember any of those days, and the ones you do remember, you're just fully embarrassed by.
Well, they're in print. If anybody wants to look. Swing and a miss at the curveball, and Walker has a strikeout. That's his 4th of the day as he gets Galvis. The MLB Ballpark app will complete your next visit to Citi Field. Buy and manage game tickets, redeem special check-in offers, access exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. See, not everybody feels that way, though, Ronnie. I mean, Roger Daltrey still isn't wearing a shirt.
That's right.
And he's older than we are.
And still swinging the mic.
There you go. Michael Franco hammers one down to third. VR makes the play, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Taijuan Walker in the fourth. 4-0 Mets. Innovative NYU student and alumni voices bringing a fresh take to the world of sports film on the first annual NYU Sports Film Festival, presented in partnership with SNY, Thursday at 7 right here on SNY. Jose Peraza's having himself a nice day. An RBI single in the second, a fine defensive play in the last half inning. Getting a chance to start today with Jeff McNeil sitting. Jeff cramped up last night. He's available off the bench, but not needed so far. And Harvey with a good sinker in on Peraza, and it's 0-2.
That's the first good sinker he's thrown inside the right-handed hitters. Maybe making a little change here in the fourth inning.
Harvey's ground ball rate is the highest it's been since 2013. Over 47% ground balls. Of course, back in 2013, he was striking out half the hitters he was facing, so it was a little less meaningful. But he has definitely changed in terms of what result he's looking for. Peraza gets a pass from the first base umpire Alfonso Marquez. Peraza played in Boston last year after starting predominantly for 3 years in Cincinnati. That's strike three called, and he knew it. So Harvey has a strikeout, his third of the day. One out in the home fourth. Well, we got the present and the past.
There was a time, right?
Well, they had the 5 of them. What was it? I think it was one time that Harvey, DeGrom, Syndergaard, Wheeler, and Matz all pitched consecutively in the rotation.
Oh, really?
Once.
Once.
Oh,
goodness.
The 5 aces. They just rarely performed a show together. Tomas Nido takes a strike. Meanwhile, Wheeler is pitching magnificently in Philadelphia. He's scheduled to pitch tonight against the Nats. Matz got off to a great start in Toronto, but has struggled lately.
Wheeler has quietly become their ace in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Syndergaard should be back here in June, and DeGrom is the best pitcher on the planet. Nido off the end of the bat to center. In comes Mullins, and he makes the catch. Nice break by Mullins on a ball that couldn't have been all that easy to read. 2 out.
Watch the motion of Harvey and concentrate on the glove. Starts it right in front of his face. Very easy motion, leg kick about waist high, and then tucks that glove late. That used to produce 98 to 99 miles an hour. That tuck and kind of rotate around the core.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Ronnie. Yeah. When he was throwing, 98 miles an hour, didn't he get much more extension with that arm towards second base?
He did. He threw. He was one of the first pitchers, I shouldn't say, most successful pitchers that looked like he threw a javelin. If you ever watch people throw a javelin in the Olympics, that's kind of how he did. Arm extended all the way to second base, and takes care of Walker there and produced heat.
1-2-3 for Harvey. 4-0 after 4.
From the Kiner's Corner, Johnny Bench, one of the great catchers of all time. We're going to be talking with Ron Santo, still a Cub fan, huh?
Absolutely.
All the way. You and Harry Carey, huh? George Carlin. They had some outstanding pitchers, but it was a great place to hit.
Yeah.
And our lights are going down.
This is a now an art film.
That means you're...
It was one of the joys of watching Mets games. After every game, you got to watch Ralph and his special guest on Kiner's Corner, brought to you by Manufacturers Hanover.
You forget, well, Hanover sometimes. You forget that when you would go on that show, I mean, everyone revered Ralph. You know, you knew what he had done in the game if you knew your history in baseball. So you would just sit there and like, I can't believe I'm in the same room as Ralph Kiner. And then he would treat you like you were his son or a relative.
Now, our director today is Jeff Mitchell, who directed Mets games back in the days when Kiner's Corner was a thing. And he broke out the jacket today.
Signed by Ralph Kiner.
Signed by Ralph. Nice job, Mitch.
I would have rather had that jacket than the $50 you got for being on the show.
Jacket's probably worth a lot more.
Yeah, right.
Rio Ruiz leading off the 5th against Taijuan Walker, who quickly gets ahead 0-2. Ruiz walked on 4 pitches his first time up. But since then, Walker has kicked it in gear. He's been throwing strikes. He's retired 8 in a row. And he's working with a 4-run lead.
What did he do in St. Louis, Gary? Was it 18 in a row that he retired?
18, the last 18, yeah. After Arenado had the only hit against him. Ruiz lifts one toward the left field corner. Back goes Dom onto the warning track, and he gets there to make the catch. So that's 9 straight for Taijuan Walker.
Well, this is a lesson in outfield play today, isn't it?
Now the number 8 hitter, Chance Cisco. There's nobody throwing in the Orioles bullpen, so it looks like Harvey's going to continue on, and he is coming out on deck. Harvey's thrown 63 pitches through 4 innings. And first pitch curveball flipped in for a strike. That's a nice weapon for a lot of pitchers.
Yes, it is.
Second time through the order, just flip in that curveball.
Well, it's so random, and most pitchers are throwing half a dozen of them at the most during a game. So if you throw it for a strike, it's a freebie because the hitter is sitting on or hedging against a couple of other pitchers that you use the majority of the time.
You know, DeGrom used to do that for a couple of years, right? Second time through the order, he'd throw that first pitch curve. Now he's so good he doesn't have to. He hasn't thrown a curveball all year. Now Walker has been an absolute godsend for this staff. With Carlos Carrasco yet to throw a pitch as a Met. Noah Syndergaard still on the horizon. That's grounded into the shift. A long run for Lindor. He can't get it, but Peraza does. How about that? Lindor missed out on the dive, but Peraza was right there behind him to back up to throw out Cisco 2 away.
I could be wrong, but I thought this ball deflected off the glove of Lindor, and Peraza still made the play. No, it just beat him. And Peraza was there to make the play. So nice.
Catcher running.
Oh, it did. It caught a little bit of the leather of Lindor, but didn't really deflect away or carry him away from Peraza as he's laughing at Lindor's vain attempt.
Peraza's having himself quite a day, isn't he?
He is. He can play. We always liked him when he was the shortstop for the Reds.
Harvey lifts one to center field. Pilar comes in to get it, and it's a very quick inning for Taijuan Walker. He's retired 11 straight, halfway through 4-0 Mets. Well, this is Matt Harvey from his major league debut in Arizona. This was the day of the bloody nose against the White Sox when he pitched a one-hitter. And then there were all the strikeouts in between. There was hitting Chase Utley.
I love that look.
There was celebrating a championship. There was pitching in the World Series. You know, the best of Matt Harvey as a Met.
People always talk about Game 5 that was his finest performance, and certainly with so much on the line, it certainly was. But I'll never forget the game he pitched against the White Sox here. It was one of the most dominating performances I've ever seen from a pitcher.
He didn't get the win that day.
No.
He pitched 9 innings of one-hit ball. Jonathan Villar leading off in the home 5th as Harvey starts his 3rd time around the Mets batting order. VR has flied out and struck out 0 for 2. And he loops one into center field, and that's going to fall for a base hit. So the Mets have their 7th hit against Harvey, a leadoff single for VR in the 5th.
Tried to come inside, fisted out to left center field by VR, and now a chance to steal a base.
You know, we got to see a lot of VR last year playing for the Marlins and the Blue Jays, and he didn't play particularly well against the Mets, but watching him play a bunch of games in a row, you really get an understanding of how good a baseball player he is. Just, I mean, the dash he made for the plate last night, getting a great jump off third base and a great slide to beat the throw. And Luis Rojas was making this comment today, and it's hard for us because we don't really get up close. He's a big man.
Yeah.
Look at that. He's 233 pounds. You wouldn't think that for a guy like VR who runs as well as he does.
Yeah, I mean, that's Bo Jackson size.
Lindor had a base hit, stole a base, and scored a run his last time up. Francisco's now hit in 6 straight games.
VR's got a huge lead. Huge lead.
He's got 1 stolen base this year. He has stolen as many as 62 in a big league season.
Well, I think what you have is the combination of athleticism and baseball instincts is what you see when you watch VR play every day.
And almost took a bad step that time, but got back to the bag.
I mean, I know you remember this, Gary, but there used to be a day when there was AstroTurf, and you always knew the guy had a big lead if he had 2 feet on the carpet. Well, that's where VR is, kind of 2 feet on the carpet of that cutout.
And Harvey has thrown over 3 times in a row. You know you have the perfect lead if you just get back.
Yeah.
But there's some wear and tear involved in going back into the bag like that repeatedly. He's running. Cisco with the sidearm throw. No chance to get VR, who despite all those throws over got a good jump for his 2nd stolen base, and the Mets' 2nd stolen base of the day.
Well, sometimes it's the jump, which VR gets a great jump, but watch where the pitch takes Cisco. The pitch, which was a down and in slider, and you can see the slide by VR, easily saved, took Cisco right kind of behind Lindor, and he had to make a sidearm throw. That one hurt.
So the Mets have another runner in scoring position. Lindor stole a base and was driven in by Dom Smith in the 3rd. Now Lindor trying to return the favor for VR. And he smacks one out to left center. Back goes Mullins to the warning track. And a step from the fence. He makes the catch. VR able to tag, and he'll go to 3rd. So Lindor with a deep enough fly ball to move the runner.
Watch where this pitch takes Cisco, so it doesn't allow him any chance to get a foundation and anything on the throw. So now he's almost behind Lindor. Lindor did not have to duck. You can stand tall, but he did, and Cisco only could make a little sidearm throw down there. No chance.
Now the infield comes in for the Orioles with VR at 3rd and 1 out. Conforto will try and get the run in. Michael fly deep to left his last time up, 0 for 2 on the day, and he yanks one foul on a first pitch curveball from Harvey.
Now VR will read this. Remember, he went on contact last night on the Mazika ground ball and scored the winning run. But on this circumstance here, you'll read it, and if it's a high chopper or something like that, he might come home. But you have to be a little more conservative because you have Alonso up next, who is in scoring position when he gets in the batter's box.
Ball and a strike to Conforto. Michael has upped his average with runners in scoring position to 296. Harvey got the ball in on him that time. There aren't that many guys left with the Mets who were teammates of Harvey's on that 2015 World Series team. Familia, Syndergaard.
Conforto's first year, right?
And Conforto. Yep. That's about it, right?
DeGrom.
Yeah. DeGrom. Oh, yeah. Him.
Dave Raccanello.
Eric Langell. Up the middle, a base hit for Conforto, and that'll bring home VR. So the Mets cash another stolen base. Conforto with the RBI single to make it 5-0 New York.
Boy, it's death by 1,000 cuts here against Harvey by this Mets offense. Tried to go up and in again and got middle of the plate. Conforto with 2 strikes now, shortened up, protecting, put the ball in play in the middle of the field. Nice hitting.
The Mets are last in the National League in slugging percentage, but they're taking advantage of their other skills. They have more team speed this year, and they're starting to take advantage of it, and it's turning into runs. Now Alonso, who doubled down the right field line in the second and scored, and fly deep to right in the third. And he fouls one back this way. The Mets started the day second in the National League in on-base percentage and last in the league in slugging percentage. The last time a team finished top 2 in on-base percentage and bottom of the league in slugging percentage was the 1961 Cardinals. It's an odd combination.
Yes, it is.
But it's working for them right now. They've won 6 games in a row.
Pete, I think, is ready to slug one out of here, isn't he?
58 plate appearances without a home run. That's the longest dry spell of his career. Pokes the slider foul, and it's 1-2. Did I see that Joan Jett is in the ballpark today?
I mean, I'm like a fanboy.
Can I tell you something?
Huge fan of Joan Jett.
I saw the Runaways
Yeah.
at the Capitol Theater in Passaic in 1980. It's one of the highlights of my youth. You know, Cherie Currie and Lita Ford and Joan Jett. Yeah. It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
One of the all-time greats of rock and roll. She's wearing a Lane's Orioles hat.
That's fine with her. She can do no wrong in my book, Joan Jett.
2-2 coming, and it's up and into Alonso, 3-2. By the way, Kristen Stewart did a great job playing Joan Jett in the movie.
She did.
And that's too high, ball 4. So the inning continues.
You can see frustration in the body language of Harvey now.
First walk given up by Matt Harvey, and they'll get warm-up action going. Sean Armstrong is up in the Orioles bullpen.
You know, Gary, when you've given up a few early runs in a game, your only battle that you can win is to go deep into the game. Go 6 or 7 innings for your team and kill some innings. And I think the body language shows that he knows both of those are off the board now.
Joe Harvey just trying to get through this 5th inning now. Facing Dom Smith, who's been a big thorn in his side today. Dom has twice gotten off speed pitches and hit them to left center for base hits.
No, he's not going to get another chance against Harvey.
So Brandon Hyde will make the pitching change, and Matt Harvey's return to Citi Field ends after 4 1/3. Call to the ball. Well, it has to be a disappointment for Matt Harvey, out after 4 1/3 innings in his return to Citi Field. Shawn Armstrong will replace him with first and second and 1 out in the 5th, facing Dom Smith, who's 2 for 2 and has driven in a run. And Dom lays off a first pitch that just misses inside. Ball 1.
Fastball, hard cutter, curveball. You can see there's been a lot of walks and innings pitched so far for Mr. Armstrong. East Carolina, Cleveland Indians, Seattle Mariners claimed off waivers from the Orioles.
And Dom cracks one down the right field line, and that'll go to the corner for an extra base hit. Conforto is in. Alonso will be held at third. Dom Smith is 3 for 3. His second RBI of the day. This one a run scoring double. And it's 6-0 New York.
Just a hard cutter in. And boy, Dominic pulled those hands in and kept it fair down the right field line. Nice piece of hitting right here, and barreled that baseball. First 2 hits off the end. This one a linea to right.
Well, Dom was cold. He got a base hit his last time up on Sunday. He got a hit in his only at bat yesterday, and he's gone 3 for 3 today. That's 5 straight hits. All's right with the world. Infield comes in again. Kevin Pillar, the batter. And he takes a strike from Armstrong. Pillar had a 2-run triple off the wall in left center in the second. Mets with 3 in the second, 1 in the third, 2 home in the 5th to break this thing open. And now a chance for more with Pillar with 1 out. And he fouls back the fastball from Armstrong, and it's 0-2. Pillar 1 hit in 3 career at bats against Shawn Armstrong. Jose Peraza waiting on deck. And that comes up and in. 1-2. Well, the day began with a nice ovation for Matt Harvey when he first took the mound and when he came to the plate for the first time. But the exit was pretty anticlimactic.
Yeah. You're hoping for a great effort and a Mets win, right? That's what have been, I don't know. But for most Mets fans, they'll take a blowout, I'm sure.
Well, Mets have been waiting for a day when they could put some big offensive numbers on the board. Even though they've been winning, they have not been scoring a ton of runs. Over the last 5 games of this winning streak, they haven't scored more than 5 in any game. They've got 6 today. Two-two to Pillar, and he lifts one foul down the right side. That'll go out of play. Well, that's the Mets record when they score 4 or more. Their pitching has been so good, they haven't required a ton of runs scored to win. And you'd have to take that as a really good sign going forward, because you figure that this team is going to score more runs. Their offense appeared to be their strength when the year began, and yet they're last in runs scored, and yet they're in first place.
Yeah, I would also couple that, Gary, with I expect them to score more runs. And I don't know if they're going to pitch at a 250 clip all season either. You know what I mean?
Although they're going to get reinforcements
they
in.
are.
You know, Syndergaard's on his way, and Carrasco eventually, and Lugo before too terribly long. 3-2 to Pilar. And he chases the cutter for strike 3. So there's the second out of the inning as Armstrong strikes out Pilar. And that'll allow the infield to back up for Jose Peraza.
Unusual swing there from Pilar. Almost like he was trying to cut down on his swing, but I don't know if he has that kind of swing anymore. Pretty all out all the time. I'll tell you, if the Mets pitch at a 250 clip, it'll make my job a little easier in October. I'll tell you that.
Why do you say that?
Because National League. Turner has the National League this year.
So you want it to travel. Peraza pulls one down to third off the glove of Franco, recovered by Galvis, but a run comes home, and it's 7-0. And Peraza's excellent day continues, that time with the pinball shot. His second RBI hit of the game.
Well, his first RBI hit split the third baseman and shortstop, and he tried to do it again, but Franco got a glove on it. Galvis kept it in the infield, but 7 runs now on the line of Harvey.
Book now closed on Matt. He gives up 7 runs and 8 hits over 4 1/3. His ERA goes up from 3.60 to 4.80. Here's Nito with first and third and 2 out. Tomas is hit into a fielder's choice and flied out. He's 0 for 2. First 7 hitters in the lineup all have at least 1 hit. Nito trying to join the party. Mets with 7 runs and 10 hits on the day. It's the most they've scored since the first game of this winning streak. The second game of the doubleheader in St. Louis a week ago when they put up 7 runs. Most runs the Mets have scored in any game this season is 8. Mets got another day off tomorrow before they start a 9-game road trip in St. Petersburg on Friday night, where they can aim at the rings.
Yeah.
Nito down on strikes to end the inning, but the Mets break it open with a 3-run 5th and lead 7-0 after 5. All right, speaking of pitching well, Taijuan Walker is doing that. Last start in St. Louis allowed just 1 hit in 7 innings of no earned run ball. Retired the last 18. Today he's allowed 1 hit, 5 innings, scoreless ball. He's retired the last 11. Feeling a little symmetry there.
Yes.
Top of the batting order, 3rd time through for Walker. Cedric Mullins has struck out in line to left. It's not as though Walker has been untouched. The Mets have played some great defense behind him today. Pilar, Conforto, Peraza all have made fine plays. And the curveball wraps around the plate for a ball, 1-1. Austin Hayes, who has been particularly struck by the Mets defense, is on deck. Mullins lifts one to center, shallow. In comes Pilar and Conforto, and it drops for a hit. A little dunker by Mullins for the 2nd Baltimore hit of the day. So Mullins hits one where they ain't. Austin Hayes has not had quite that fortune today. He has hit them where they were able to catch them.
Well, he hit them where they ain't, but they came very quickly. Great catch by Pilar in front of Dominic Smith. We've seen him over his career rob a lot of Ball's up against the wall, and then the great catch by Conforto. Complete layout. Do you remember when Michael Conforto, we used to talk about how he was a DH in college and that maybe he didn't have a position and he would be challenged in the outfield?
We were told when he came up that he was a subpar outfielder, and he proved that wrong almost instantly. And now he's playing at a Gold Glove level. Hayes hits this one to center. This is a more routine play for Pilar. Sorry, Austin Hayes, not today.
400 feet away. If that 400 is routine.
No. The only hit he has in the series was one that went in Almora's glove and came back out when Almora face planted into the wall.
Well, we'll have to wait until the weather gets warmer again. But right now, fly balls in this ballpark can be a pitcher's friend.
Well, that's worked for the Mets and it's worked against the Mets. There's Mancini, who has a double and a strikeout today. Met pitchers have now worked 129 innings at home and given up 4 home runs in 129 innings. And a breaking ball in for a strike to Mancini, and it's 0-2. Ryan Mountcastle, the on deck batter. Keegan Aiken is up in the bullpen for the Orioles. Just called up a few days ago. Nito able to pick that ball up. Thought about the back pick, but held on. One-two coming, and another stop by Nito. 2-2. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Mets. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Mets. Mullins at first and 1 out. Mancini tops one up the third base line. You can put it in your pocket. No chance to throw out Mancini. Walker tried, and Alonso saved him an error, but it's a base hit for Mancini. Swinging bunt for the big guy. His second hit of the day.
What a nice play. Pete is trying to tell him to hold up. Once he didn't and threw it over there. Just threw that big body in front of it and blocked it. Nice play, Pete.
Is Walker a little shaken up after fielding that ball?
I didn't see that.
Well, there seems to be a little concern.
I think they're just giving him a rest. You know, nowadays, if a pitcher gets off the mound and attempts to make a defensive play, they give him a respite.
You know, I once saw a pitcher break his thumb trying to field a little roller like that.
They didn't give me any respite then either. It continued to get some outs. Now it's a common thing now, which I understand.
It's load management.
Yeah, load management. To go along with the ups downs.
So Walker had allowed just 1 hit through the first 5 innings. He's given up 2 soft hits here in the 6th. A pop fly single and a bleeder. And now Mountcastle fouls one straight back. 0-1.
Gets there quickly. He really is quick for a big man. Maybe, yeah, I could see a little body language like he was a little out of sorts, but
something.
Yeah.
Conversation in the dugout. Bench coach Dave Joust, manager Luis Rojas, pitching coach Jeremy Hefner. Well, nobody came out, so obviously they didn't see any reason for concern. And Mountcastle takes the cutter out of the strike zone. It's 2-1. They will get Robert Gazelman up in the bullpen with Walker had only 75 pitches, so I guess there's at least some level of concern. And he ran that ball in nicely on Mountcastle, and it's 2-2.
Saw that last night with Mountcastle with a high fastball. When he gets it started, it's hard for him to shut it down.
He's hit 2 ground balls today. Last time Peraza made a neat pickup on a one-hopper. Grounded down to third, a chance for 2. VR with the step and fire for the 5-5-3 double play. That retires the side. Walker gets what he needs after a couple of hits in that inning. 7-0 New York. UFAN Sports Radio's Drive Time Duo in visual form right here on SNY. Carton and Roberts, presented by Grubhub, simulcasting live every weekday at 4 p.m. starting Monday, May 24th, only on SNY. Well, whatever was ailing Taijuan Walker, he's going to stay in and bat for himself. Lefty Keegan Aiken makes his season debut for the Orioles.
Made some starts last season for them. Western Michigan is the college that Keegan Aiken attended.
In Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo.
Derek Jeter's hometown.
That's right. See a lot of strikeouts for innings pitched last season for Aiken.
Walker's been up twice, struck out both times. Last time he never took the bat off his shoulder, and it doesn't appear as though he's planning to this time. But, you know, we once said that about Dae-Sung Koo. Were you around for Dae-Sung Koo? That was before your time,
that was
right?
definitely before. That was a dark period for me.
His first at bat in the major leagues, Mr. Koo stood at the outer edge of the batter's box and took 3 strikes and did exactly what Walker just did. His second at bat in the major leagues, he came up against Randy Johnson and he hit a double to right center and then scored from second on a bunt. Mets get tomorrow off. They start a 9-game road trip Friday at Tampa Bay with David Peterson on the mound against the Rays ace Tyler Glasnow. 6:30 Friday night on SNY. For more on the Rays, let's check in with Steve.
Gary, the defending AL champs, kind of treading water a bit right now, 19-18 to start the season. And the problem that seems to be ailing Major League Baseball, it's really ailing them as well. They're just not hitting right now. It's not as if they were a dynamic offensive team a year ago, but right now their slugging percentage is second worst in the AL. With runners in scoring position, they're batting just .200, which is worst in the major leagues. You mentioned Tyler Glasnow, though. You know, he's someone certainly worth watching on Friday night. He's always been a guy that really only threw 2 pitches, the fastball and the curveball. This season, he's added a slider. He's thrown it 30% of the time, and his ERA is just about 2.5 right now.
The thing about the Rays is they always figure out a way. Yes, they're near the bottom of the league in most of the offensive numbers, but they're 7th in the league in runs scored.
That's right.
So they figure it out. And their bullpen, it's always different guys, but they always get it done.
Got a pretty good manager down there, too, and Kevin Cash. And you're going to enjoy watching Glasnow pitch on Friday night.
I mean, how do they keep on developing relief pitchers? They've got Hunter Strickland pitching well in that bullpen. Ryan Thompson, Andrew Kittredge, Jeffrey Springs. I mean, every year the names change as VR strikes out, but they always figure out how to put together a stellar bullpen. There are the starters Friday night. David Peterson coming off a second-inning knockout, looking to rebound in the hermetically sealed environment at Tropicana Field. Now, obviously, we're going to be doing that game remotely. It is hard enough when you're in the ballpark there to figure out, like, what's going on and which ring is which and which one's in fair territory and which one's in foul territory. Not sure how you do it on a monitor. But I'm sure Keith will figure it out.
Yes, he will. He will. He's got 3 legal pages of notes already. You know how he comes in with that yellow legal pad. He's ready.
Well, it's not September yet, so that means that it's not his college football picks on the legal pad. One boost for the Rays. They may get Ji-Man Choi back this weekend. He's been out all season after knee surgery this spring. But they lost Kevin Kiermaier to a wrist injury the other day, and that's huge for them. Kiermaier is such an important piece of what they do defensively. Fly ball out to center off the bat of Lindor. And Cedric Mullins puts it away, and so Keegan Aiken turns in a 1-2-3 bottom of the 6th. 7-0 New York as we go to the 7th at Citi Field. Taijuan Walker continues to excel. 6 scoreless innings today on top of 7 scoreless innings in his last outing. Freddie Galvis leads off in the 7th and takes a slider at his feet for ball 1. Galvis is 0 for 2, grounded out and struck out. So Walker in his last 2 outings has thrown 13 innings, given up no earned runs and 4 hits.
ERA coming in was a minuscule 2.38.
That started the day with 3 of the top 10 pitchers in the league in ERA, with DeGrom, Stroman, and Walker has only improved that. Fastball pops in for a strike, and it's 1-2 to Galvis. Full count to Galvis. Michael Franco on deck, then Rio Ruiz for the Orioles in the 7th. And Galvis takes ball 4. So Walker got ahead in the count but lost him for his 3rd walk of the day. We check in with the studio for a game break. Here's Doug Williams. Doug? Is that a baseball cake? That's awesome. Who made that? Congratulations, Gary. It's a great milestone.
How did we know? Was the StatCast or?
I don't know what Gary's exit velocity is, but his launch angle is spectacular.
Oh, congratulations to the great Gary Apple. Lucky to have him.
Nicest man you'll ever meet anywhere at any time.
He's been with us since the beginning, right?
Believe he was the first voice, first person on the air at SNY in 2006.
Awesome dude.
Speaking of awesome people, a great accomplishment. I want to wish all the best to a great Mets fan and a fantastic talent, Mike Breen, who will be going into the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, the recipient of the Kurt Gowdy Award for Broadcasting Excellence. That'll happen this Friday, and nobody is more deserving.
Wow. We love Mike here. He kind of gets the feel that you get. He gets to work with Clyde. You get to work with Keith.
Trying to think, who gets the better of that deal. Hit toward the gap in left center. Closing is Pilar, and he makes the running catch. Got a great break on that ball to retire Franco for the 2nd out.
Some really good outfield play on both sides. Pilar has been impeccable. Watch the jump. As soon as it was hit, crossover and getting into that gap. It's all about taking that right angle to the ball, vectors straight into that gap by Pilar.
You know, the defensive metrics have not been kind to Pilar over the last few years. And I remember when he went to San Francisco a couple of years ago, playing in that oddly configured outfield. They were saying that they felt as though he was not the same defensive player he had been. All I know is everything we've seen so far this year would indicate that he is still an elite center fielder. Rio Ruiz has walked and flied to left, and he hits one through the vacated space on the infield, and he's got a base hit. Galvis is going to go first to third. So Ruiz finding the hole in the shift. And the Orioles got a runner to third base for the first time today.
See the swing off the end of the bat by Ruiz. Good pitch from Walker, but again, with that shift, anything on the outside part is going to be against the shift, and plenty of room.
So Walker's shutout in jeopardy as he faces the number 8 hitter Chance Sisco.
Oh, just remember, as you watch Pilar, those defensive metrics designed by people who can't catch a cold. So,
well, I mean, they have merit.
oh, no,
But
big time.
but the eye test is important too, still in defense, because the defensive metrics aren't perfect. Off the corner to Sisco, 1-1. DJ Stewart is out on deck to pinch hit, with the pitcher spot due up next. Stewart was announced but never got to the plate last night. And Sisco rolls one slowly toward first. Alonso will take it to the bag, but a run comes home, and the Orioles pick up their first run of the day as Galvis scores to make it 7-1. So the first earned run that Walker's allowed in his last 2 starts. And now DJ Stewart, who torched the Mets for a couple of home runs last year in the 4 games the 2 teams played. He's been slowed by a hamstring injury the last few days. That's why he hasn't been in the starting lineup. He's also been struggling with the bat. He's hitting just 187. And he takes up and away from Walker, ball 1.
I like our mics.
What did they say?
I can't say it. I'd love to say it.
Okay. Well, probably a good thing that you can't. 1-1 to Stewart. I mean, last year with nobody in the ballpark, we had to apologize to the FCC. Walker trying to make it through 7 innings for a second straight start. And he throws that one low and into Stewart. 2-1. Ruiz at second with 2 out. A run home for the Orioles in the 7th. And Stewart pops one up. Lindor waiting for it. And that retires the side. After 7 at Citi Field, middle of the 7th, 7-1. Yeah, well, just hurrying things along.
I mean, if we showed Jones.
Brought to you by Sector Spider ETFs. Visit them on the web at sectorspiders.com. Doug Williams and Andy Martino discussed the last few days for the Mets that featured a fight, 5 wins, and an injury for DeGrom on the latest Say Anything podcast, presented by Verizon. Subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. Tyler Wells is the next man out of the Orioles bullpen.
Started his high school in Morgantown, West Virginia, but then transferred to Yucaipa High School.
Wait a second. Isn't that where Taijuan Walker's from?
Exactly. Drafted by the Minnesota Twins and picked in the Rule 5 draft by the Orioles. He's had 8 appearances. 5 of them have come against the Boston Red Sox.
So it started as Harvey Day, and now it's a battle of the Yucaipans.
There you go.
Michael Conforto takes a strike. Michael had an RBI single in the Mets' 3-run 5th that broke this game open. 3 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, 3 in the 5th. All 7 runs charged to Matt Harvey over 4 1/3. Now facing the rookie right-hander Tyler Wells. And he pops one up wide of third. Franco has room in foul ground. 1 out. It's now time for a word from the Home Depot.
Scan the field and read the product review. Check inventory status and place your order easily in the Home Depot app.
Here's Pete Alonso. Pete has doubled and walked today. He scored 2 runs. And Wells rushes a fastball inside for ball 1.
Straight over the top from Mr. Wells.
Cal State San Bernardino. Didn't even know they had one of those.
CSSB, Gary.
CSSB. I'm thinking CTSB. Can't stop the bleeding. It's CSTB. I don't know. 1-1 to Alonso. Dom Smith, who's having a big day, is on deck. He's not the first big leaguer from Cal State San Bernardino, but there aren't a lot of big names. Shane Costa had the most big league at bats from Cal State San Bernardino. Three and one now to Pete. 59 plate appearances and counting since Alonso's last home run. He had one of the warning track in right field back in the 3rd today. And there's ball 4, and Alonso's on base for the 3rd time today. And the 2nd walk given up by Baltimore pitching, and both have gone to Alonso. And now Dom, who's 3 for 3 today and 5 for his last 5. That'll raise your batting average in a hurry. Up to 252. Started the day at 230. 2 singles and a double today. The first 2 to left center, the last one to the right field corner. And Wells misses outside for ball 1. Dom flicks one foul, and it's a ball and a strike. Dom's due to get his first base work of the season this weekend in the series at Tampa Bay. Chance to DH for the first time, and so Pete Alonso will probably get at least 1 game at DH with Dom playing first.
Boy, it's not going to be as easy as it sounds, with having to move in from left field. I know he's taken plenty of ground balls at first base before games, but we're talking about velocity change as far as those ground balls concerned, and on the carpet in Tampa Bay.
Fly ball out to left, and Mountcastle is there. And Dom's retired for the first time today. 2 out. Well, I get the impression that nothing is easy about playing at Tampa Bay, whether it's looking up at the roof to find fly balls or playing in the echoing caverns of Tropicana Field.
And like a lot of dome stadiums, Gary, especially from the past, you feel like you walk down into it, so you're subterranean when you're on the field.
There's Pilar, who drove in the first 2 runs today with a triple off the wall in left center.
See that the Oakland situation seems like it's coming to a head quicker than we thought with the Athletics.
Well, MLB has told them to explore relocation, which, can sometimes be a cudgel.
Yeah.
to try and convince the local authorities to make more of an effort to keep them.
But the boy has cried wolf one too many times. I mean, this seems to be yearly with the A's franchise.
Does that mean that Las Vegas will get another pro team? They seem to be loading up on them.
The Raiders and the A's.
Hopefully they have the hockey team there too. Popped up in foul ground. Mancini is there, and so it's a hitless inning for Tyler Wells out of the bullpen. That sends us off to the 8th with the Mets up 7-1. News today: the Rangers bid farewell to their head coach. The NFL will release their schedule tonight. Is that more or less exciting than the draft? Geico Sports Night tonight at 11 on SNY. There's the next 3 series for the Mets. The Rays over the weekend, the defending AL champions. First meeting with the Braves and the scorching hot Ronald Acuna. And then the Marlins, all those on the road in 9-game trips starting Friday night in St. Pete. The Marlins still are the only team in the NL East with a positive run differential, although I think the Mets can go into positive territory today. Robert Gsellman on to pitch the 8th inning. Throws ball 1 to Cedric Mullins.
5 days ago, Robert pitched 2 1/3 innings against Arizona. Just gave up a run. He's been vital for this team when they've needed to have innings eaten up, whether a starter didn't go or didn't pitch well, or in a blowout game like this to probably finish this game.
I mean, you can accurately say that everybody in that bloated bullpen has contributed.
Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely an area where the Mets were hoping they would improve this year, but it has performed, I think, beyond anybody's expectations as a group. Not just the guys who started the year here, but even the people who've come up like Sean Reed Foley and Tommy Hunter. 4-pitch walk to Mullins starts the 8th inning, not the way Gsellman wanted to begin. And now Austin Hayes will get one more crack at finding some grass. He's had 3 fly balls today. All have been caught. 2 of them in spectacular fashion. Oops! Hang on, hang on! Don't let Pete's finger go.
What is that? That's not a foam finger. That's a foam
it's a
glove.
hand. It's a polar bear claw. And Gsellman having trouble finding the strike zone. That's 5 in a row he's missed with. I mean, you should probably have a polar burger in the other hand.
Yeah, it comes with Visalia onions inside the. So cute.
Visalia onions, aren't those the ones from California?
Yeah, well, isn't that what is on the burger, Pete's Burger?
Vidalia onion.
Oh, okay.
From Georgia. There's a strike to Hayes. One. Visalia was in the Cal League.
You know who grows? Yeah, exactly. You know who grows onions and has a onion farm is Frenchie, Jeff Francoeur.
Really?
Yeah.
French onion. Hayes, it's a little fist shot. In comes Peraza. Too late.
Jeez.
And so Hayes, after hitting 1,200 feet of fly balls that were caught, he knows exactly what just happened. He hits one about 20 miles an hour that plunks into the infield grass for a hit. And they say they all even out in the end. Maybe they do.
He's telling Pete, I had 3 bullets today. I got nothing. And then a bleeder off my hands. Or telling the first base coach, sorry.
Well, Gsellman's not laughing about it because after the leadoff walk, now he's got trouble against the heart of the order, working with a 6-run lead. Trey Mancini's 2 for 3 today, a double and an infield hit. And things are not going swimmingly for Gsellman, and Nito's going to go out for a conversation.
These are interesting games for relievers because when you're called to come in, you know, it seems like it's an insurmountable lead. And I wonder if you let your guard down a little because you just can't. You know, for relievers especially, you can come in and give up 2 or 3 runs, and the next thing you know, it's your ERA is bloated for a month.
And it goes from insurmountable to surmountable in a big hurry.
Yes, it does.
Tommy Hunter is going to get up now in the Mets bullpen. Hunter has been unscored upon in his first 2 outings. Grounded down toward third. That's a foul ball. Might have had a chance for 2 had it stayed fair, but the third base umpire Tim Timmons right on top of it. And Mancini will come back with a 1-1 count.
Wow.
Barely missed clipping that third base bag. If it had been about an inch to the right, it might have hit the bag and taken a left turn into foul territory.
Yeah, good call by Tim Timmons.
That would have been real trouble. One and one to Mancini. Gazelman misses with the slider. 2-1. Well, it's been nice to see Trey Mancini on a baseball field. There's Tommy Hunter getting loose after Mancini missed all of last year, diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. Slow ground ball. VR's play will be to first. Gets the out there as the runners move up. It's really a remarkable thing that Mancini is playing baseball, and it's just nice to see him back in the game.
Well, if you know him at all, you can't get a better citizen and a better guy, and you just wish he has a monster year, just not here in Flushing.
So 1 out, 2 in scoring position now, and Ryan Mountcastle comes up. Mountcastle's 0 for 3 today, 0 for 7 in the series. And the Mets will shift around to the left against him as Gazelman misses high for ball 1. Infield back, of course, with a 6-run lead. Happy to trade a run for an out. Pulled down to third. VR with a nice backhand pick. The runners hold, and that's the 2nd out. The defense continues to shine for the Mets today.
A nice play by VR. I always feel like he's more comfortable up the middle of the diamond, but a nice backhand, a soft toss to first on the money.
Certainly has more experience playing the middle infield positions, but he's done a nice job playing third in the absence of J.D. Davis. So now 2 out. Freddie Galvi's the batter. 0 for 2 and a walk. The Mets are hoping to have Brandon Nimmo and J.D. Davis back in the early part of the road trip. Nimmo may be as early as Friday. J.D. might be a few days behind him. But it certainly doesn't escape notice the way the Mets have played in their absence, with Pilar and VR especially filling in on a daily basis, playing every day and helping the Mets along with this winning streak. Gazelman threw a fastball by Galvis, and it's 1-2. Galvis had 16 career at bats against Gazelman, 5 hits, so he's hitting .313 against him. Mullins at third, Hayes at second with 2 down. And Galvis tries to hold the swing. They check at third, no swing, says Tim Timmons. 2-2.
Unusual stance for Galvis. Watch that front foot completely open on his toe.
Two. Up and in. 3-2. Michael Franco would be next. And that's low, ball 4, and that'll load him up. So 2 walks in the inning by Gazelman to go with an infield single. And now the Orioles have a chance with one big swing to get right back in this game. Jeremy Hefner out to the mound. Hunter ready in the bullpen, but Gazelman will get one more batter with Franco coming up. I want to take the opportunity while we have a moment to congratulate the Mayer family. They have been a great presence at Shea and at Citi Field for so many years. Laura Mayer works in the ticket office, and her son Chris has been a Met bat boy for years. And Chris and his wife Nikki just celebrated the birth of Avery Shea Mayer. Great name, great family. Congratulations to all.
Yes.
So here's Franco with the bases loaded and 2 down. Line to short and caught by Peraza playing in the shift. Another bullet, another play by a Met fielder. Peraza timed his leap perfectly, and that gets Gazelman through the top of the 8th. Met pitchers living right today with some fine gloves behind them. Well, there have been a lot of them today, but let's give it to Kevin Pillar. Not only caught the ball, but avoided Dom Smith, avoided losing it against the wall, hung on to retire Austin Hayes. Now we go to the bottom of the 8th, and Jose Peraza, who's contributed some good hands of his own and a couple of hits and 2 RBIs, filling in for Jeff McNeil today in just his 2nd start as a Met, and he has had himself a terrific afternoon. And he lines one toward the middle, and there's Ruiz to pick it off for the first out. So Peraza's retired by Tyler Wells to start the 8th, and now Tomas Nido. Well, it looks like Drew Smith is going to make his big league debut, his season debut in the 9th inning.
Nice.
Drew coming off some shoulder problems this spring. He had the Tommy John surgery a couple of years ago. His career has really been one of fits and starts, and it's nice to see him back in a Mets uniform. Just called up a couple of days ago, and looks like he's going to get the 9th. Perfect spot for him. Nido rolls one to shortstop, and Galvis is there to make the play, and there are 2 out. Now, what's Patrick Mazeika going to do with nobody on base? The new folk hero in New York, Patrick Mazeika, coming up as a pinch hitter with the bases empty. If he wants an RBI here, he's going to have to hit a home run.
Well,
and the crowd appreciative of what Mazeika has accomplished, which is historic. They started counting runs batted in 1920. Since then, Mazeika is the first player to get 2 walk-off RBIs in the first 4 games of his major league career. He's also the first since 1920 with 2 walk-off RBIs before his first big league hit. It's quirky, but it has him in a category by himself.
Yeah.
He also had a bases loaded walk that did not end a game. So he has 3 RBIs, but no hits. Here's the most recent one last night, bottom of the 9th. Runners at 2nd and 3rd. VR comes home with the winning run, and Mazeika set off another celebration. Breaking ball lifted to center, and Mullins comes in. No RBI here from Mazeika. Side retired, and that sends us to the 9th. Drew Smith will come in and try and close it out. 7-1 New York. All right, Gary, it's Mr. 1K, Gary Apple. We go to the 9th, 7-1 New York, and good to see Drew Smith back on the mound for New York.
Yeah, only pitched 7 innings last season. Of course, lost the season in 2019 to injury.
Had some shoulder soreness this spring. He came back from Tommy John surgery last year with a new pitch. He started throwing a cutter, and it seems as though it is a developing weapon for him. Looked good in spring training before developing the shoulder issues, and looked like he had a pretty good chance of making the team, but now making his first appearance of the season, facing Rio Ruiz. And he gets a swinging strike and a fastball, 0-1. Ruiz is 1 for 2 and a walk. Taijuan Walker went 7, allowed a run on 4 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, lowered his ERA to 2.20, which is 3rd best on the team, which tells you how well the Mets have pitched this year.
I mean, really, in today's game, that's the 4th of the season, right, Gary?
The Mets now have 3 of the top 7 ERAs in the National League. DeGrom leads the league. Stroman at 2.01. Walker at 2.20 is 7th. Robert Gazelman worked an inning and allowed no runs, 1 hit. And now Smith trying to close it out, and it's lifted into shallow center, and Pilar comes in to get it. 1 out. So Ruiz is retired.
5 putouts for Pilar in this game. There's Jake.
Jacob deGrom continues to play catch every day. He'll have a bullpen session somewhere along the way during this road trip, and hopefully will be activated in time to pitch in Miami, the final stop on the trip, although that's not etched in stone by any means.
We know how much he loves pitching in Miami. He's had some of his better games there.
He has a couple of 14 strikeout games.
Hit a homer, didn't he?
He did. Pat Valaika is out on deck to pinch hit for the Orioles. And Cisco takes that cutter for a strike, and it's 1-1. Well, the Mets have an off day tomorrow. They've got another off day during the trip, so they really only need a replacement starter once for deGrom. Got it on the hands of Cisco, and it's popped up. Dom Smith coming in, calls off VR, who just bailed out at the last moment, and there are 2 out.
Dom's like, what are you doing?
I had that the whole way.
Got that covered. Love the hustle by VR, though, don't you?
He's been great. So the Orioles are down to their final out, and Pat Valaika will be the pinch hitter. Valaika delivered the first run of the game in last night's pitcher's duel, a sacrifice fly as a pinch hitter in the 7th. It's on the verge of sweeping their 2nd straight series and finishing a 5-0 homestand. Swept 3 from Arizona over the weekend, and now trying to make it 2 for 2 against the Orioles before starting a 9-game road trip Friday night in St. Petersburg. One to Valaika. Drew Smith now 27 years old. And it only makes the Mets bullpen that much deeper if he can stay healthy. And the cutter fouled off, and it's 1-2. And the Orioles are down to their final strike. One-two to Valaika. Fouled away. 96 from Drew.
He's got an electric arm. Just has to stay healthy. Easier said than done. Growing that hair longer. Trying to get the Samson effect.
Again, the 1-2. He struck him out, and the ball game is over. Drew Smith returns to the big leagues with a 1-2-3 ninth. Taijuan Walker with 7 more terrific innings. Mets play some outstanding defense. Dom Smith with a big day with 3 hits and 2 RBIs. And the Mets have now won 7 straight as they complete a 5-0 homestand, sweeping a pair from the Orioles, winning today 7-1.
And the Mets are now 6-1 in the 7 starts that Walker has had. And Pilar with 2 RBIs and Peraza also with 2 RBI.
So the Mets continue to roll even with some people banged up. The bench mob coming through. Taijuan Walker continuing to pitch better than the Mets could have ever hoped. And the bullpen turning in 2 more scoreless innings today as the Mets complete an undefeated homestand as they defeat the Orioles today 7-1 to go 5 games over 500 for the first time this year. Their longest winning streak since an 8-game streak in 2019. Matt Harvey made his return to Citi Field. Not a pleasant one for Matt as he gave up all 7 runs in 4 1/3 innings. Mets win at 7-1. They'll be heading on the road from here. Fun afternoon at the ballpark for the Mets. We'll come back with more from Citi Field in just a moment.